This conference will now be recorded.
Hello and welcome back. Today we are going to discuss about Ansible. So we'll start Ansible from today. So yesterday we integrated Nexus to Jenkins, right? Nexus with Jenkins. So any challenges, anyone? Yesterday someone pinged me and saying like unable to push WAR file into Nexus. Right? Any challenges? Right. Yeah. If you face any issues while practicing, you can take the screenshot and you can post in the group so that we'll see that. Okay. Yeah. So from today we'll start working on Ansible. Ansible is very advanced tool. Okay. So it is very core tool. So Ansible will take 5 to 6 sessions. Fine. And it is a configuration management tool. Ansible is a configuration management tool. It is a automation tool. Using Ansible, by single click, we can create a number of applications. So, right. Can you see my screen, everyone? Yes, sir. Fine. Yeah. So in this session, we'll try to understand what is Ansible, why Ansible, Ansible use cases, architecture of Ansible, configuration management with Ansible. Okay, these are the things we are going to cover. So basically, what is Ansible? So Ansible is an open source configuration management and provisioning tool similar to Chef, Puppet, and Salt. Okay, Chef and Puppet, these are old tools. So Puppet is very old tool. Okay, say it is outdated. So now currently some project teams they are using Chef. Okay, Chef also same configuration management tool, but in Chef we have some manual efforts. So not completely automated tool, automation tool. So Chef is having some manual efforts, and also compare with Chef, Ansible is cost effective, less costing. Licensing costing is very less. Ansible licensing. Chef licensing cost is high. Okay. Fine. So Ansible is an open source configuration management and provisioning tool similar to Chef, Puppet, and Salt, and it uses SSH to connect servers and run the configure tasks. So Ansible lets you control and configure nodes from a single machine. When we configure Ansible, it will control all the servers. For example, in your environment, you have 1,000 servers. So Ansible server will control all the servers. Okay. And what makes it different from other management software is that Ansible uses SSH infrastructure. So secure shell, right? Authentication is SSH through authentication, SSH authentication. So Ansible will work. Okay. The project was founded in 2013 and bought by Red Hat in 2015. So Ansible born in 2013 and in 2015, so Red Hat what this Ansible. Okay. So Ansible use cases. Provisioning. Provisioning means server creation, instances creation, right? Configuration management. Okay. So we can use the configuration management and app deployment, application deployments we can do. Okay. Using Ansible, we can deploy a number of applications. Continuous delivery. Continuous delivery means normally what will happen? Jenkins will trigger the job, Ansible will deploy the code on application servers. Okay. And security and compliance. Security and compliance also important here. Okay. Very secure tool. Ansible is very secure tool and it will manage all the activities. Okay. Next one is orchestration. What is orchestration? Anyone having idea what is orchestration? What is orchestra? Orchestra అంటే ఏంటండి? So musical night లో orchestra చూస్తాం కదా. We'll see orchestra, right? Musical night, right? So many instruments will be there. Some players will play the instruments, right? That is nothing but orchestra. But orchestration, what is orchestration? Orchestration means so one person will control all the instrument. They will move their hands. The person will move hands and he will control the instruments, right? That is nothing but orchestration. So one person will move the hands and he will control the instruments, right? So that is orchestration. The same way Ansible will control all the activities here, right? Fine. So architecture of Ansible. So here we have Ansible automation engine. So inside of the automation engine, we have inventories, APIs, modules, plugins, right? So these are the components available. And also here, for example, user will prepare the playbook. Okay, so from modules we pick the playbook. Playbook is nothing but it is a simple YAML script, YML script. That playbook, the simple script we can pick and we can customize and we can trigger to Ansible automation engine. Okay, so it will move through plugins, APIs, and it will move through host missions, target servers through network. Okay, we'll go deep dive. Then, yeah, this is just architecture. So later we'll see that. Okay, next one, example of inventories. What is inventory? Basically, inventories means it is a server information. For example, we have 1,000 servers. We need to prepare inventory for 1,000 servers. See web server here. These are the web servers. These are the DB servers. So here, server information is like IP address. So web server IPs we need to provide, but here it is showing different way. What it is? It is a FQDN number, FQDN name, FQDN. What is FQDN? So instead of giving IP address, we give FQDN name. Anyone having idea what is FQDN? Server admins can understand that. FQDN, yes, fully qualified domain name, exactly. So FQDN means normally in real-time projects. Okay, so for example, I am working with some company. Okay, server name dot domain name dot com. Like for example, we have one server. Okay, DB server. So I'm working with Capgemini, right? For example, so server name is DB server. DB server name dot capgemini.com. That is FQDN name, fully qualified domain name, right? So instead of giving IP address, we can give FQDN name also here. We can give IP address as well as FQDN name we can provide here. In the inventory, so web servers inventory, DB servers inventory. Okay, so first we need to prepare inventory here. Next one is Yeah. So this is one way. We can segregate groups like this. Okay. Group name, local group, web group, DB group. Like this, we can prepare groups. This is also inventory. Next, what is playbook? So what is playbook? Playbooks are simple YAML scripts, YAML files, YAML files. These files are descriptions of the desired state of your systems. Ansible then does the hard work of getting your systems to that state, no matter that different way they talk about here. Okay. So playbook contains plays. Playbook contains plays. So plays contains tasks. Tasks called modules. Okay. So playbook is nothing but it is a script, YAML script. It contains plays. Plays contains tasks. Tasks called modules. Okay. Next one is examples of Ansible playbook. Okay. So this is syntax, basic syntax. Okay. 3 hyphens, enter hyphen host. Which host you want to deploy? For example, you want to deploy some application, Java application. So host column, where you want to deploy, target servers, web servers group, I gave here, web server group. For example, in our project, we have web servers, app servers, DB servers. Okay, different groups we have. So I want to deploy the Java on only web servers. So I gave web server group here, web servers. So after that, remote user. Remote user means from which user you are going to perform. Root user. Tasks. What are the tasks you are going to perform? Task name, column, ensure Apache is at the latest version. Means I want to install Apache Tomcat latest version. Okay. See here. So this is the syntax, actual syntax. Means, so to deploy Tomcat, Apache Tomcat, this is the syntax. See here, M column space name equal to HTTPD space state equal to latest version. Okay. So this is first task. Second task is hyphen name column ensure Apache is running. Means we are going to start this service. So once install the latest version, so we start this service, right? So this is the script to start the service. Service column space name equal to HTTPD space state equal to started space enabled equal to yes. Service will be enabled, right? Yeah, this is sample playbook example. Next one is playbooks publish mode. Okay, so once we prepare the playbook, okay, once we prepare the inventory file, so then we'll trigger the playbook. Trigger means we run a command or we schedule. So by the time what will happen? The playbook will be applied on host missions through SSH, authentication. So these playbooks will be triggered on host servers. These are nodes, various nodes. Okay. So this is Ansible playbook run. So once we run the playbook, this is the output. Normally we get this output once we run the playbook. See here. Yeah, first what we will do, what it will do. So this is the command to run the playbook. Ansible playbook name. .yml is mandatory. So .yml both are same. Okay. So .yml is mandatory. So the command here is Ansible playbook and playbook name. Once we enter this command, what will happen? First, it will check gathering facts. Gathering facts means how many servers are connected, how many servers are available. That will check. Okay. After that, tasks. What are the tasks we prepared? Okay. So the task will be changed. Change means activity performed. Okay. So task. So once complete this task, what it will say like changed one means one task performed, unreachable 0, failed 0 means there is no unreachable servers. There is no failed servers. right? Like this, we can, yeah, once we apply the playbook, we get output like this. So we get some report like this. Okay. Yeah, modules. So modules are nothing but these are the tasks. Okay, there were over 1,000 modules provided by Ansible. Okay, so Ansible is providing some Ansible Galaxy, Ansible modules. Okay, in that we have so many modules available. So we can take that modules and we can customize that modules and we can execute that modules, right? So Ansible itself, it is giving some modules, some tasks, some playbooks. We can use them. We can customize them and we can reuse. Okay. Yeah, example of modules. See here, there are lots of modules such as service module, file module, copy module, IP tables, etc. Any module can be used as like this. Okay, Ansible. So IP address -m service like this. So Ansible Galaxy, right? So Ansible modules, Ansible Galaxy. We have two sites here. So Ansible Galaxy also having some reusable script. So when you go to Ansible Galaxy, okay, you will get some reusable script here. From here, you can pick the script and you can customize and you can reuse. You can execute. Okay, what are you doing here using Ansible? So building VM templates, configuring clusters, storage management, networking, software deployment. Okay, so user and groups creation, authentication, authorization, performance testing, OS upgrades, software upgrades, okay, security patching, troubleshooting, customer support, okay, development labs, alerting, monitoring. So all these things you can perform using Ansible. So Ansible, yeah, once we configure Ansible, it will take care of whatever currently we are doing manual activities. All the activities will be taken care by Ansible. So we can do in automated way using Ansible. Okay. So companies that are using Ansible, these are the major companies. So many companies are using currently. So these are the major companies, they are using Ansible. Okay. These are the references. If you want to go docs.ansible.com, you'll get use documentation. Even DigitalOcean also providing very good documentation. Okay. Fine. These are the things. Yeah. So I give you a few more examples here. Okay. Yeah. So before discussing Ansible, normally, so what is Ansible? We understand, right? So normally Ansible, what Ansible will do? Okay. So once we configure Ansible, it will take care of all the node servers to deploy. For example, in real time, every day we perform so many activities, day-to-day activities like deployments, plugin installations, okay, and code movement, code merging, okay, so code deployment, build activities, so many things, right? So here Ansible will help you to manage all activities in automated way, right? Yeah, before discussing about Ansible, for example, so before Ansible, okay, so if you want to deploy any application, for example, you want to install Java. You want to install Java and install Java on 1,000 servers. So these servers are not in automation. We are not using any scripting here. These are the manual servers. It can be physical server or virtual server. These are the manual servers. So normally, if you want to install Java, what are the steps we follow here? Aim steps చేస్తామండి. Even steps on that. Let us take single server. If you want to install Java, how can we install Java?
We need.
Yeah, first we connect server, right? Login server, right? Login server using RDP or putty session. If the server is Windows server, so we can connect through RDP, remote desktop, right? If the server is Linux server, we connect through putty session, right? Once we connect the server, then we need to supply username, password. So if you have 1,000 servers, first, yeah, we need to log in 1,000 times, right? Yeah.
Yes,
Once
sir.
we log in into the server, so then we need to check whether Java is installed or not, right? So after that, if it is not installed, Java is not installed, install Java. So install Java means how can we install? Before that, we require some package, right? Java package is required, right? Normally in real projects, we don't use any pen drives, we don't use any CDs, we don't download from the internet because firewalls will be there, right? So normally in real time, what we will do, we'll copy software from
SharePoint.
share paths, share folders, right? Copy software from share folder into target server. Once we copy that software, then we can install Java. So once install the Java, so we need to set environment variables. So otherwise Java will not work. You cannot configure environment variables, Java will not work properly, right? You need to set environment variables, right? After that, finally, so we need to reboot server. So these are the steps we follow normally in real time. So whenever you want to deploy Java on a single server, so we need to follow these steps, right? And also one more important thing, whenever we perform any manual activity, right, there may be chances to do manual mistakes, right? So when we perform manual activity, okay, so we do some manual mistakes. So in our team, so before Ansible, we used to use manual activities. We used to perform manual activities, right? So for example, monthly security patches installation. Okay. Yeah. While installing patches, okay, our team members, yeah, they used to perform patching activity by the time. So instead of installing yeah, can you hear me? Your
Yes.
electricity down, so I connected hotspot, mobile hotspot. No problem. Fine. Yeah, normally what will happen here? Yeah, in our project, okay, so our people, our team members, so they used to do so many manual mistakes while working on monthly patching activity, right? So for example, so every month Microsoft will release patches, Windows patches, right? Even Linux also, every monthly patches will be released by Red Hat for Red Hat servers, Debian for Debian servers, right? So normally, while working on patching activity, manual efforts, manual activity, so our team members used to do so many mistakes. Like instead of installing one version, patch version, they used to install different versions, right? So sometimes, yeah, they used to deploy different applications. Okay. So due to that, we used to observe so many issues. Okay, when we are performing manual activity, there may be chances to do manual mistakes. Okay, if you have Ansible, what we will do? First, we'll implement on testing environment, test environment. Once it is success, then we'll apply on production environment. So we prepare script. Script will not do any mistakes, right? So once we prepare the script, once we execute on test environment, once we confirmed that, then we can directly apply on production, right? Fine. So this is the way we install normally. If you want to install Java on single server, so manually, this is the process. For example, the person who is having 2 to 3 years experience guy, how much time it will take to perform this? How much time it will take?
More than 5 to 4 days. Sir.
Yeah. Single server you will take minimum 30 minutes
Yes.
for one server, right? So if the person is expert, maybe it will take 15 minutes, right? So let us say 10 minutes. 10 into we have 1000 servers. So it will take 10,000 minutes to deploy Java on 1000 servers, right? So these are the this type of activities, this type of request. Every day we receive so many requests. Okay. So in our project, we are everyone getting minimum 25 to 30 requests per day. Minimum. So more than 30 requests, sometimes more than 30 requests we receive. Okay. So if you are doing manual way like this, what will happen here? It will take a lot of time, right? It will take days, weeks. But when we receive ticket, we'll have some SLA, service level agreement. So within that SLA, we need to complete the request. So SLA means it is a timeline. So we'll receive some different type of tickets, P1 tickets, P2 tickets, P3 tickets. P1 means priority 1, priority 2, priority 3. So based on the priority, so we need to close the request. Okay. So that is why when we receive the ticket, okay. So first we need to check the priority. So based on the priority, we need to work on the ticket, right? Fine. So any questions up here? Yeah, same requirement. So how can we achieve using Ansible? We'll try to understand. Same requirement. So we have 1000 servers. So same Java installation. So how can we achieve using Ansible? We'll try to understand. So this is my Ansible server. So we have 1000 servers. Dev 100, Dev 250 servers, development servers, UAT servers. We have 250 servers, and the production servers we have 500 servers. Right. So on the servers, I want to deploy Java. All the servers. Okay. Fine. So first, what we need to do? First, we need to install configure Ansible on a server. Okay. So once install the server, once we configure the server. So after that, so we need to establish the communication, authentication from Ansible server to development server, Ansible server to UAT servers, Ansible server to production servers. So we need to establish the authentication from Ansible server to this target servers. So to establish the authentication, we use SSH authentication. We use SSH authentication. So authentications are two types. First one is key-based authentication. Second one is user-based authentication. Right? So in real time, normally we use key-based authentication. So in our test lab also we use key-based only. Okay. So this authentication we need to establish first. So to establish this authentication, so what we will do in Ansible server, we generate one public key. So command here is keygen. We generate one public key in Ansible. That public key we can paste in all the servers. Once we paste that public key, this authentication will be established. Okay. So once authentication is established, next one is, so we need to prepare inventory groups. So we discussed already what is inventory, right? So we need to prepare inventory groups. So inventory is nothing but it is a server information. So inventory is nothing but it is a server information. For example, we have dev servers, 250 servers, 250 IP addresses we need to give. IP address or FQDN name we can give, fully qualified domain name. Okay. And UAT servers we have 250 servers. So we need to provide 250 IP addresses here. Next one is we have production servers. So production server IP addresses we can provide like this. So all the IPs we need to provide. Okay. So once we prepare the inventory, so after that, so we prepare .yml script. So we can say, we can call it as playbooks. Playbooks. So playbooks are nothing but it is a simple YAML script. Okay. So we need to prepare playbook. For example, if you want to install Java, okay, so we need to prepare Java YAML script. So I'll show you some sample script here. So this is the playbook. Okay. So these first three lines are syntax. 3 hyphens. Okay. Enter hyphen host, all host are any specified host tasks. So what are the tasks we are going to perform? So install Java 1.7. Okay, task name. Next one is m colon name equal to Java hyphen 1.7.0 hyphen open JDK space state equal to present. So this first three lines are syntax, and next line is for our understanding. So this is the actual script to deploy Java. This is only the script. So copy this, paste here. Okay, this line is not required basically. This is for our understanding. You can remove this. This is only the playbook to deploy Java, right? So this is the Java playbook. We can pick this script from Ansible Galaxy or Ansible module, and we can customize as per the requirement, and we can apply on the Ansible, right? So to deploy the Java, this is the playbook. To uninstall the Java, so in place of present, you can give absent or uninstall to uninstall the Java. So the same script we can modify. In place of present, we can give absent. Okay, and trigger the playbook. Once we trigger the playbook, the Java will be uninstalled. Fine. So Java installation playbook we prepared, right? So after that, so we need to connect. So if you want to deploy Java on only dev servers, dev environment, you need to give dev. and we can trigger the playbook. So if you want to deploy Java dev1 UAT, you can give dev1 UAT and trigger the playbook. If you want to deploy the Java on all the servers, you can give all and trigger the playbook. So once you trigger the playbook, Java will be installed on all the servers within 5 minutes. So not only 1,000 servers, you can spin up 10,000 servers also within 5 minutes. By single click, you can deploy Java on a number of servers, right? So once we deploy the Java, how many servers are deployed, changed? Okay, how many servers are unreachable? How many servers are pending? Okay, so how many servers are failed? You will get all the report from Ansible. For example, we have 1,000 servers. In the 1,000 servers, 20 servers are not reachable or failed. So what we will do? So again, once we troubleshoot, once we check that, again we can execute playbook on all the servers. No need to segregate the 20 servers. So you can run the playbook on all the servers. Okay. So whatever servers already installed, those servers again it will not install. Whatever servers not installed, okay, on that servers the Java will be installed. So here we have one interview question. Okay. So why should I go for Ansible? I can use shell script also to deploy the Java. So this is the question interviewers will ask you, interviewers. So last time when I attended one proxy interview, I got this question. Okay. So what is the answer? So why should I go for Ansible? I have some scripts using shell script, I can deploy the Java. Yeah, that is true, right? Yes, we can say, yes, we can deploy the Java using shell scripts also. But what is the difference? He will ask you. By the time, so you can say simply one word, which is idempotent, idempotent, idempotent. So you can search in Google, idempotent, you will get that. So what does it mean? Okay, idempotent means, so for example, if you want to deploy Java using shell scripting, okay, whenever you execute the script, Java will be installed. But whenever you want to, for example, 10 servers to deploy Java using shell scripts, okay, so one server is not deployed. So if you apply again the same script, what will happen? Whatever servers are installed already, those servers will be overwrite or removed and reinstalled. So by the time, what will happen? We'll get some issues, right? But here Ansible is, once Java is installed or any package installed, so it will check first. If it is already installed, it will not touch again. It will clearly say like it is already installed. It will not reinstall, it will not override. Okay. So Ansible will not disturb that server if it is available already. Whatever servers not installed, those servers will be installed. Okay, so that is the main difference. So we can say one word which is idempotent. Fine. Yeah. Using Ansible, not only deployments, we can perform a number of activities like software installations, patches installations, VFXs, IP reservations, report generation, okay, folder creations, data movements, right? Share folder creations, share paths, configurations, right? Even though using Ansible, we can create EC2 instance also. We can start EC2 instance using Ansible, right? So once we configure Ansible, it will take care of all the things. Any questions here, anyone?
Sir, how did we configure Windows servers? Like SSL authentication is the Linux servers.
Yeah. So even Windows servers also, Windows servers also we can configure. So I'll show you. So last month, not last month, last quarter, I think. So we configured some Windows servers here. So how can we configure? I'll tell you. Don't worry. And Windows servers, why we require Windows servers? So we did some project last quarter, which is IP reservations. DHCP servers we configured. DHCP servers we added into inventory groups. So DHCP servers means dynamic host configuration protocol, right? So that servers we added into inventory. Okay, so when we receive the ticket, ServiceNow ticket, okay, so we created some rule. Okay, so once we execute that rule, it will check the region, whatever region is there. So it will go and check in the DHCP server. Okay, appropriate region IP it will assign automatically. That project we performed in last quarter. Okay, so I'll show you. So we'll use different authentication. Okay, I'll show you while working on that. Don't worry.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, so Ansible is very important, right? So from Monday onwards, we'll start working on Ansible. So we'll create lab, we'll take one Ansible server and we'll take other 3 servers are dev server, UAT server, production server. We can establish the authentication, okay? And we prepare playbooks, inventory groups. Then we'll start working on Ansible and we'll perform few activities on Ansible. We have some activities on Ansible. So we'll perform some activities. Okay. Fine. So any other questions? Yeah. So till Nexus, whatever concepts we discussed, you can practice this weekend. Okay. If you have any questions, till and Nexus, these are base tools actually. Base tools means like this tool should be, this tools are basic tools, base tools. Like normally every project team, they use Git. Okay. They use Git. Some project teams, they use Jenkins also. So these are the base tools. So Git, Jenkins, Maven, Nexus. These tools you need to practice. Okay. Git, Jenkins, Maven, Nexus. If you have any questions, you can practice that flow. If you have any questions or any issues, you can practice and you can post in the group this weekend. From Monday, so little bit advanced level we are going in Ansible. So from Ansible onwards, it is little bit advanced. Okay. Fine. So we stop here for today.
Sir, up to Nexus.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, up to Nexus, can you share the documents?
Nexus document, right? Yeah, I'll share that document. Sure.
Like
So today I'll share.
Git to Jenkins also.
Yeah, up to Nexus, I'll share all the documents today.
Okay.
Okay, so you can go through the documentation.
Thank you, sir.
Fine. So we stop here for today. So we'll connect on Monday and we'll work on this Ansible lab. Okay. Fine. Thank you all.